Welcome to week 5 of the distance learning packet for IM2. Here we have the week 5 packet. This is the last page, which is page 5, and here are the problems. Okay, what I would like you to do is I will show you how to do the odds, but you will have to do the evens by yourself. Okay, I will give you some help. First of all, number 9 asks you to use the GCF, the greatest common factor, then factoring using the Diamond Method. You have to pull out GCF first. Okay, so the numbers that you have here is 2, 12, and 16. 2, 12, and 16. To the GCF, to find the GCF, we write out their factors. 1 times 2, 12 is 1 times 2. Times 2, 4 times 3, that makes 12. 16 becomes 1 times 2 times 2, which is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 12. Okay, so see what numbers they have together. You have the 1, then you have the 2. So you can say that the GCF is going to be equal to the number 2. So you pull out a 2 here. What you left over, what you have left over here is a 1 x squared. What you have left over, 2 times 3 is 6, so you have 6x. What you have left over here, 2 times 2 times 4, which is just 8. Okay, now you want to factor this out. You want to look for your A term, which is just 1. Your B term is going to be 6, and you want to look at your C term, which is going to be 8. Plug it in. The top is A times C, which is 8. Bottom is just B, which is just 6. You want to look at what multiplies to make the number 8. So it's 1 times 8 gets you 8. 2 times 4 gets you 8. And that's it. Now you want to see what adds up to 6. So 1 plus 8, does that work? Does that get you 6? No. 2 plus 4, does that get you 6? Correct. So the factors here are 2 and 4. So when you write this out, you have x plus 2, then you have x plus 4. That's what happens once you factor it out. Good? You're going to do the same process here. Find the GCF. Oh, you're not done here. I forgot. You have to put the GCF. Remember, we pull out a 2, so you need to have the 2 here. Remember, this is the GCF. Don't forget it. Now you're done. Number 11, there's actually a mistake on the packet. Make sure you include the negative. Okay, the reason why is that there is going to be a GCF here. That GCF is what number you're going to pull out. -1, -7, and -12. What you're actually pulling out here is going to be a -1. Okay, what you have left over is an x squared plus 7x plus 12. If you did it the other way, it's not going to be pretty. So there's actually a mistake here. Okay, all right, so let's do this. So what is your A? Your A is your 1. Your B is your 7. And your C is going to be your 12. So on top, 1 times 12, which is 12. The bottom is just B, which is just 7. Okay. Now, what multiplies to make up 12? So 1 times 12 gets you 12. You have 2 times 6 gets you 12. Then you have 3 times 4 gets you 12. Notice that these numbers have to come in closer together, and you're done here. Okay, because they're closest together. Now you do the addition. 1 plus 12, does that get you to 7? No. 2 plus 6, does that get you to 7? No. 3 plus 4, does that get to you 7? That's correct. So the answer here is 3 and 4 because, right, it works here and it works here. So what does this become? Remember, there was a negative out in front. And remember, we pulled out a greatest common factor of -1. Okay, what is left are what you have inside. So it was the x's, and your 2 factors are 3, so plus 3. Then you have 4, which is going to be plus 4. Okay, remember, this is the GCF. You can't do that without pulling the GCF. Here, there is a GCF here. Be very careful. There is a GCF here. I'm going to tell you now the GCF is a 3. Okay, the negatives there wouldn't be an issue with the negatives here. Okay. Okay, I double checked. There is no error for number 12. There's only an error on 11. All right, the last one, 13, factor that out completely. But notice, remember, it has to look like ax squared plus bx plus c to factor this out. Notice this is an x to the 4. So break it up. Okay, so let me show you. All right, I'm going to bring it up. 3x4. Okay, this becomes 1 times 3 times x times x times x times x. Okay, the next one is negative 15x cubed. Okay, then you have, I think, 1 times 5. Ignore the negative for right now. We could just ignore the negatives for right now. 15x cubed. Okay, you have 1 times 3 times 5. Then you have x times x times x. Then here, you have a 12x squared. That's going to be equal to 1 times 2 times 2. No, times 3. 4 times 3. So 2 times 4 times, yep, times x times x. Okay, understand what you need to have left over. Okay, so the first one, you have a 1, perfect. What else is in common? 3, 3, 3, perfect. 3, 3, 3. What else? You're like, oh wow, it has an x and an x here. Perfect. So what do you have left over? 1 times 3 times x times x. You have 3x squared. So if you factor this, it would look something like this. 3x squared, parentheses, what you have left over right here is a x squared. You have an x here, but remember there's a negative. So negative x plus, what do you have left over? Nothing here. There's actually a 1 here. Okay? No, I'm sorry. Sorry, it's not a 1. There's a, I made a mistake. So notice, sorry, there's a 5 and an x here. So there's a 5 and an x here. So if you pull that out, that would have been 5x, right? And what you left, I didn't see that. And a 2 and a 2 here. So that is plus 4. Is that right? Let's see, 2, 2, 2. Let's take a look. Hold on. Okay, so we're good so far. Do you need anything else? Because I'm going to delete this. Okay, good. I'm going to move it right here. Yeah. All right. So let's do the diamond method. So what is your A here? Your A is the number in front, which is 1. What is your B? It's negative 5. And what is your C? Is going to be 4. All right. So 1 times 4, it's just 4. What's the bottom number? What you multiply? Negative 5. All right. So what number makes, what multiplies to make 4? So you have 1 times 4 gets you 4. 2 times 2 gets you 4. Now you want to add it. Okay. 1 plus 4, does that get you 5? Oh, actually it does. Because 2 plus 2, does that get you 5? No. All right. So the only ones are these. But here's the issue. Remember, you want to make negative 5. So this has to be negative. 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 Negative 1 plus negative 4 gets you negative 5. Likewise, negative 1 times negative 4, that gets you a positive 4. So here you get negative 1 times negative 4. Good. So what does that get you? Okay. Remember, it's x something, parentheses, x something else. Okay. So what you have here is your minus 1 right here. Then you have your minus 4, which is right here. Then remember your GCF. 3x squared, x squared. Okay, this is the GCF. Everything else that comes from the factoring. Okay, there you go, and that should be all your problems. Good. So this 14 is going to be done the same way. Make sure you're pulling out the greatest common factor. Okay, I'm going to tell you now the greatest common factor here. The GCF is going to be a 2x. All right. Here, do it yourself. Here, you can do it yourself. All right, but there you go. Those are all your solutions.